finds it as Untara claims the life of Smeb. It's just Depth and Mana left alive, but they might not be lasting much longer. There you go.
What's up, everyone? Zyrene here. This week on The Breakdown, we're going to take a look at the final game of the telecom war that took place in the LCK semifinals. In Game 5 of KT versus SKT, SKT applied consistent pressure to score Zac, eventually leading to SKT winning a team fight and taking all 3 outer turrets at 18 minutes. While this happens in Game 5, the origin of this moment started in Game 3. How? Well, let's get into it to find out. In the last 3 games of the series, KT had selected blue side and SKT opted into red. This reveals a tendency from Smeb. At 1 minute and 34 seconds on the clock, he enters the enemy jungle and places a ward at the red buff and checks the raptors. This gives KT information on where the enemy jungle starts and allows them to begin tracking them. SKT begin to recognize the pattern and prepare a counter for Game 5. In this game, SKT have 2 early winning lanes. These lanes, when left alone, will shove the enemy laner under the turret due to the amount of pressure they apply early in the specific matchups. And the most reliable way for Blank to keep his solo laners safe isn't to gank them, but to control Score's jungle, and Smeb's predictability gives him the opening. Knowing Smeb's timing, Untara and Blank hug the wall and slip into KT's jungle. Faker and Bang ward the jungle exits of KT on the bot side to spot if Score goes for their blue. Blank steals KT's blue and returns to his jungle to grab his red. After this, he goes for another invade. Since SKT knows that Score's first 2 camps were red and raptors, there are 3 likely possibilities. Score is either heading to SKT's blue, his Krugs, or his wolves. SKT's support Wolf roams to check blue, which leaves Krugs and wolves. If Score goes Krugs, Blank's invade steals away his wolves and Gromp. If Score goes wolves, Blank can fight him and push him out of the jungle, which is what happens. Blank EQs over, netting him both of the small wolves. Score smites the big wolf, but Blank actually picks up the camp by hitting Score. Thunderlord's Decree doesn't activate off of hitting jungle monsters, but Blank's hit onto Score triggers the AoE and gets him the camp. This gives Blank level 3, pushes Score out of the jungle, and allows SKT to begin controlling his movements. With his top side taken, Score is now forced to go to his only remaining camp on the map to hit level 3, while Blank has 5 remaining camps on his side of the map. The next step for SKT is to begin a seesaw of vision. When Score is spotted on one side of the jungle, the SKT members on the opposite side will move into the jungle and place deep wards. This will allow SKT to easily track Score and infer which side of the map he's on if they don't see him. Since SKT knows Raptors were either Score's first or second camp, this means it'll respawn between 420 and 450, so they ward it. With Score having none of his own camps up, he's forced to invade the enemy jungle to farm. He takes SKT's Raptors, but this will be the only camp that Score gets from SKT's side of the map all game long. Blank sees his camp missing and then pings Krugs because there hasn't been enough time for Score to steal both. Untara paths over, scares away Score before he can complete the camp, and hands the Krugs over to Blank, who hits level 5 while Score is stuck at level 3. Blank is now up over a kill's worth of gold. Score now looks for a gank to try and get back into the game. He elastic slingshots towards Faker, but because Score is only level 3, he doesn't have any extra range on his E, and he lands short, which allows Faker to save his flash to dodge the follow-up Q. Score then goes over to clear his Raptors and is spotted out by the ward from earlier. This ward allows Blank to move back into Score's topside jungle, and he places 3 wards. Rushing Tracker's Knife allows SKT's Seesaw to continue, providing safety as Blank steals Gromp and KT's second blue. Now it's Untara's turn to help shut down Score. Because of the Tracker's Knife vision coverage, Untara is free to proxy an entire wave and invade the topside jungle. Untara then finds Score on his wolves and makes his life even worse as he chomps away the majority of the camp right in front of him. Meanwhile, the seesaw of vision continues as Wolf wards the next raptor camp. Score once again finds himself with no camps to farm and is forced into another gank. Score and Mata move into the bottom bush to make a play, but thanks to SKT's vision, Bang deduces it's time to play safe. He doesn't contest the creep wave, and Score's gank fails. Meanwhile, Blank takes away Score's raptors as punishment for the attempt, and Untara seesaws the vision to topside. At just 10 minutes in, Blank is up 2 levels and over 2 kills worth of gold just from counter jungling. Eventually, Score finds a successful gank, but it doesn't stop SKT from keeping the seesaw going. Even though SKT are at a numbers disadvantage with Faker dead, they push into the jungle to continue warding Score's bottom side. One of those wards ends up being huge. KT attempt to regain control of their bot side jungle by placing 2 control wards to break the seesaw, but Wolf's ward is just out of range of both, which allows them to continue tracking Score as Blank goes for the 3rd KT blue buff. Over the next 4 minutes, SKT continue to bounce the seesaw back and forth, and during that time, KT try to disrupt SKT but get caught in their jungle, blow summoner spells, and continue to lose camps off of their attempt to contest the vision. With his solo lanes in bad shape and SKT just on the horizon to take over the game, Score and Pawn team up and look for a desperate play. As they head towards their winning lane in an attempt to relieve the pressure they've been feeling all game, SKT are ready to reap the fruits of their labor. Because of SKT's control of the jungle, they're up in gold, up in levels, and up in summoner spells, and they use these advantages to mop up KT 4 for 0, take all 3 outer turrets, and walk away with a 6.4k gold advantage at 18 minutes. This advantage proved too much for KT to overcome, and SKT close out the game in 35 minutes. Looking back, this was a methodical shutdown of KT. The seesaw is difficult to start, but easy to keep, and SKT noticed an opening in Smeb's level 1 that allowed them to begin establishing vision. It's important to note that even though it looks like Score is farming better than Blank at 20 minutes, 60 of his CS comes from Krugs, which means Score was behind in gold and experience the entire time. SKT's ability to exploit a single tendency that is revealed to them throughout a series is incredible. With the reverse sweep of KT, SKT's record in best of 5 since 2015 is now a staggering 18-2. Off this win, SKT move on to the finals to play Longzhou, and have qualified to defend their title and look for the three-peat at the 2017 World Championship. Hey everyone, Zyrene here. If you see a play that you think deserves a breakdown, tweet at me at LOLZyrene and use the hashtag #TheBreakdown.